Welcome to DIY Easy Crafts and Berg Knifemaking.com. Today we're going to take a look at how to electro etch flames onto the blade of a knife. Now this particular project is an AEBL stainless steel chef's knife. I actually did 3 videos on it. I did one video showing how I cast the handles, the flame handles out of resin. Another video, which is this video, shows the etching process, two-tone flame etching. And the third video is assembly and sharpening. And I'll put links to the other videos right up here. Now I use a self-adhesive vinyl. I use a vinyl cutting machine, and this is the program that comes with it. It was a Silhouette Cameo, but you could actually cut out these flames by hand if you wanted to. The Cameo is pretty cool because you can import silhouettes and then trace them, or the program traces them, and then you can resize it and position it however you want. What I really get a kick out of on this machine is that you can really mock up the knife. So I'll take an outline of the knife and lay it right over the design, and I can really get an idea what the finished product is going to look like. But regardless of how you cut out the vinyl, to position the vinyl onto the knife after it's cut out, I use a pencil, and I position the blade and then just trace it. If it's not right, I'll erase the pencil and try it again until I get it positioned exactly the way I want it. Then I'll cut notches, top, bottom, and also at the point of the blade. That allows me to position that vinyl exactly where I want it on the blade. I use a clear transfer film. I'll lay that or apply it right over the top of the vinyl. I'll rub it on with a credit card just to make sure it's adhered completely. Then you just flip that over and very carefully remove the paper backing to the vinyl. Especially on an etching like this where you've got a bunch of little pieces, you don't really want any of those pieces to peel up with the paper. So anyway, holding that transfer film, it's pretty easy to align exactly where you want the vinyl placed onto the blade. Once it is placed correctly, you rub it all down again with a credit card just to make sure there's no little air bubbles, and then you can peel away that transfer film. So now you've got the vinyl placed on the blade, you have to start to weed. Now I've got 3 sets of flames here, the bottom, the middle, and I've got some extending over the top. For this project, I'm going to etch the middle set of flames, the deepest or the darkest. So I'm going to weed or to pull away all of the vinyl, exposing that middle set of flames. The etching process, anything that's exposed is going to get etched. And the longer you etch it, the deeper it's going to etch, and therefore the darker the etch is going to appear. Once I have that middle row exposed, I'm going to cover the back of the blade with vinyl just so that I don't inadvertently etch any of the back of the blade if it happens to be sitting in some of the electrolyte solution or get some current through it. I then suspend it on a couple of pieces of wood just so that it's not going to be sitting in a puddle. I use a 12-volt automotive battery charger, 12-volt, 2 amp. The positive is clipped to the handle of the blade. The negative is bolted right onto my electro plate or etching plate. And that etching plate is wrapped in gauze, which is then soaked in a solution of white wine vinegar and salt. For stainless steel, I use white wine vinegar and salt. For high carbon, I just use warm water and salt. A lot of people ask me what the ratio is. I fill up the container with white wine vinegar and I pour a bunch of salt in. It's as simple as that. I etched the middle portion for a total of 3 minutes in 10 to 20 second increments, and every minute I would unclip that blade completely and cool it off in a bucket of water. You want to let it cool down a little bit. You don't want to ever heat up that blade so much that the self-adhesive vinyl would lose its adhesion. So again, the middle portion of the flames I'm doing for about 3 minutes. Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to weed or pull off the vinyl, exposing the bottom set of flames, and then also the top set of flames. I'll do both the top and the bottom, and I'll etch those for a shorter period of time. So I'll etch that top and bottom for about a minute, 10 to 20 second increments. And don't forget, the whole time you're doing that, the middle section is also getting etched deeper. So you're going to end up with the top and the bottom being etched for a minute and the middle being etched for 4 minutes. So the middle is going to be substantially deeper than the top and the bottom. Now this is the first time I've really done this two-tone flame effect, and I was kind of eager to see how it was going to come out. You never really know until you do the final cleanup. So this is just etching the top and the bottom. Again, total of about a minute. It is suspended, so the blade's not sitting in a puddle. I do have the back of the blade, or the etched half of the blade, protected with a sheet of vinyl also. My electro etching plate is wrapped in gauze, soaked in white wine vinegar and salt. And after the minute, I cool it down and then I peel off the vinyl. You can use a little razor knife to help you get off any of the little pieces that are stuck onto the blade. Really, it's just not all that difficult. And once all of those little pieces of vinyl are off, I just use a little sandpaper to clean it up. I use, I think on this one I had 1,000 grit laying around. And that's going to really expose that two-tone effect. I was actually very pleasantly surprised, how well this came out. Very dramatic effect. Now, you don't have to build an entire knife. You could do this on an existing knife. But this is the finished product. As I mentioned before, I have 2 other videos, one on making or casting the handles, one on the assembly and the sharpening process. But this is the finished knife, two-tone flame, electro-etched, 12-volt car battery charger, 2 amps, total of 4 minutes of etching per side. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I ask that you please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this YouTube channel. I would absolutely love to hear comments, either positive or negative. It's a little bit of feedback. I'd like to invite you to our Facebook group, Knives and Knife Making, where you can see a lot of other builders' works, and you could certainly post some pictures of your own builds. If you're interested in starting out or trying out knife making, check out the book Knives and Knife Making that Jason Northgard and I did last year. It's on Amazon.com. Thank you very much.